One. Round one. Capture the objective.
You are advised to move behind.
You're not getting away.
Okay, so um, what are you under the impression that your fortify does? So the thing that makes you turn gold and lasts for 4 seconds is your
That
shift.
was more a twitch than a purposeful click.
On the second or first one that you used?
The first one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I was wondering about. So
Yeah.
you're aware of what it does? It's 50% damage reduction and 0 knockback
Right.
or crowd control.
I did not know about the knockback, so
Yep.
that's
So
nice.
no knockback, no crowd control. So just make sure that you're not using it at the same time as your shield, right? Because when you have your shield up, you're not going to be taking damage anyways. So there's no reason to take less damage if you're not taking any damage. Okay, so we're after this game gonna go over positioning.
Okay.
Or we might even at some point here I might actually cut us out and just have you leave.
Okay.
If there's 2 minutes, if we're gonna go over multiple things, but we'll go for the moment being. Okay, make sure you're not tunnel visioning on things and you're kind of looking around you at because they do have 6 teammates, people in their team, right? So if we're only looking at one person and that's it, then we're gonna end up not paying attention to the other 5.
That was good. I was trying to do the same thing to him, but my goal is to get good enough that I've been trying to master that ball.
The pull? Oh, yeah. Like that? Nice.
Are you where?
Okay. What I want you to do is look for a second at where your team's at. Or after you die, sorry. Or not right now. Sorry. After you're dead. Look around. Where's your team at? Well, sorry, the point I'm trying to get at is they weren't with you there. They
Okay.
were all still walking back from spawn, in fact. And if
Okay.
you're going in when they're all walking back from spawn, that means that you're trying to essentially go in 1v5, right? You're trying
Sure.
to fight 5 people at once by yourself. So instead, wait until your team groups up, and then you can go in with your team, right? So try to go in with your team, not by yourself. Okay. They are fortify when you know you're taking damage, right? So that's the ability we were talking about before. Halves all incoming damage. So if you see that Tracer's trying to use her pulse bomb on you, or you know that you're about to die, right?
Diva's ult is. I've been training myself for that too.
Yep, fortify, and then that way you're not gonna die to it. Which Diva ult you will still die to it.
No,
if you're
if
close
you
enough.
fortified and shield, you'll live.
Well, if you shield it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just fortify, yeah.
Fortify, you'll die, and you don't need to combo fortify and shield. You just need the shield. Okay, so make sure that you're not right if you don't have your cooldown up for your shield, that you're not just shooting at the ground. So in that time, we can glance at our on our our ability cooldown. Sorry, my words weren't working there. We can glance at our cooldown and say to ourselves, okay, we don't have it for another 3 seconds, and then start shooting other people right in that meantime. Instead of just looking at the ground and shooting it, because that's 3 seconds that we're wasting. So try to make sure that you're trying to manage that to where you're doing the right things at the right time.
You believe that? I don't even know what to tell you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely go into the next. I'll stream after this game, and we'll go
Sure.
over some stuff like positioning.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
behind the barrier.
Probably just try to place that when you get there, right? That way you are a
I've
little
been
bit more
watching
accurate
this
with it.
video of this guy who likes to, because by the time you get to where you need to go, it'll already be up, and I haven't gotten the correct position right.
Yeah, that's honestly that's the type of stuff that's really advanced, and
Sure.
just to start off with the game, if you're gonna watch videos on people, that's probably one of the more less useful ways to be learning the game, right? First, I'd look up watch videos. You can go and watch people like CarQ. He'll give you ideas on how to use your abilities versus different characters, right? He does videos where he says one Orisa tip for against every hero or something like that, right?
Watch those. I've watched a couple of those. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but
For your safety, please move behind the barrier.
Make sure you're not just shooting at nothing, right? If you don't see a red dot, just hold on to it. Use that time to reload or do something else. A lot of time you just constantly hold down your shooting.
I
right?
do. Yeah, I absolutely do that.
So use that time to reload, and then that way you have more shots when you see people.
And her reload takes forever.
Yep.
Tracer is Orisa's like worst. Like,
Mhm.
she's so fast and I'm so
System
slow.
restart initialized.
Yep. So we're just gonna look to, since we're not really able to very easily kill her. We're gonna look to just try to minimize our damage against her, right? So we'll go into ways how we can do that after this game's done. I just want to let it finish out. If you guys win the round, though, I might just ask you to leave.
Sure.
Pay attention to your sound as well as on your screen. You'll see, oh, fortify there.
Yep.
On your screen, when you take damage, you will see that there's red marks on the corners, right? And there'll be red marks around your crosshair. So when you're taking damage, you'll see your health tick down. You'll see red on the corners of your screen. You'll hear it, right? So make sure you're paying attention, and then that way you're noticing these people that are behind you faster. When you notice they're behind you, you can turn around and start shooting at them. You can get behind cover, right? So just being aware of that is going to allow us to, not die as much.
I'm not will cease your resistance.
Best head for the hills. I'm on fire.
Okay, so I want you to. So a big thing with Lola, like this kind of people at your rank is awareness, or we'll talk more about this in a second. But something like that, right? Where you aren't paying attention to bomb, and therefore you die to bomb. So awareness is a very, very.
I that time.
Oh, but I told you, fortify doesn't stop bomb. You
Oh,
can't.
I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought it was sticky bomb.
Nope, big bomb, right? So us not seeing that ends up in us dying. So awareness is a very, very big thing so far, and that's gonna need to be worked on. I'll talk more about that after this round's done.
I'm honestly I'm pretty aware of those. Right now your chat is stopping my sound.
Oh, like I'm talking over it?
Yeah, like I have you coming through my headphones, but the gain sound is coming through my speakers.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. You can't get both to go through the same one?
Oh, I could. I guess I was prioritizing your voice over the game, but I guess that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you can always just turn it down, just for future reference. But, yeah, well, doesn't necessarily matter at the moment. All right. Oh, I guess you didn't lose yet, so they've a couple more seconds here.
Oh, they're gonna win now.
Analyzing previous combat performance.
Yep. So in that case, if you want to get back fast, sometimes a good idea is just to swap to someone like the wrecking ball, where you can get back really fast because he's a fast character, and then you might be able to do what's called stalling, and you might you'll be able to get back into the fight faster. Alright, good job getting behind cover there.
This will be your shield. Establishing defense.
Keep in mind you can still be shooting while you're. Yeah, keep in mind you can still be shooting while you're pulling, so you, don't completely pause your shooting while you're pulling, because you can just keep shooting the person you're pulling at, right? Here, okay, I'm gonna stream Overwatch if you want to take a look. We're gonna go over a few different things here in the practice range.
Okay.
Should be on Discord. Yep, you found it. All right.
Let me leave the game.
So,
Your
first off,
safety is my primary
awareness.
concern.
So having good awareness and getting better with that is gonna come down to watching and listening, and that's a very simple concept, but it can be a little bit hard to apply. So compared to this, if we go throughout our day-to-day life in real life, right, and we never turn our head, we never do a 360, right, we never look around, we don't turn side to side, and we don't use our peripheral vision, we never look at our health bar, or sorry, I started talking about in-game, and we're never using our peripheral vision in real life, right, we're always staring straight forward at a crosshair, we're never listen to what's going on around us. Stuff like work is going to be very, very difficult for us. Really, we're just putting ourselves at a big disadvantage, and we're going to have trouble with a lot of different things. So you can get hit by a car or something like that. So in game, it's the same concepts applies, right? You're going to be able to be more aware if you're looking around you. We're not just always walking forward in a straight line looking this way, right? Because that's very one-dimensional. We need to be looking around us, look at where our team's at, look at where the enemies are at. We need to be looking at the corners of our screens. What's our health bar looking like? What's our ammo at? What are our ability cooldowns at? What's our ultimate charge at? I'll talk about kill feed in a second, but we need to watch kill feed. We need to watch the how much time's left in the time bank, and all these things are going to add up. So we just need to make it a habit to every once in a while in a fight glance at each of them, right? So every time we're trying to use ability, glance at the ability cooldown. Every time we see that we're taking damage, glance at how much health we have. And then the big thing on top of this is watching kill feed. And kill feed is going to up your awareness of kill feed can tell us who's winning and losing a fight. Okay, and that's really important information because we're going to be making different decisions off of who's winning and losing. If we see in kill feed that the enemy team killed one or two of our teammates, that means that they're winning the fight. They didn't win the fight yet, but they have an advantage. And that means that they're gonna be. We have to play more passive. Okay, we try to regroup with our team, and if they get 2 to 3 picks, that means that the fight's lost. Okay, no, that means we don't want to use our ultimate. That means we want to either get out if we think we can get out, or we want to die, because otherwise we're going to do what's called staggering, and we're gonna stay in there for too long, and then our team's gonna go in without us while we're dead, and then that's called starts a stagger train, where we wasted time and then we keep wasting time because they're going in without us, right? And then we go in without them. Now, this also applies the other way. If we're up 1 to 2 people, right, we get 1 to 2 picks, that means that we want to be playing more aggressive, right? And us as a main tank, which is what Orisa is, right? Us as a tank, we can be aggressive by pushing in and going in fast, right? So when we get picks, we want to play more aggressive. If we get 2 to 3 picks, 2 to 3 kills, right, that means we've pretty much won the fight. Usually in a fight when it's a 6v4 or a 6v3, the team with more people is going to win. So that means that we want to not use ultimates, because if we've already won the fight, why would we use an ultimate? And we want to play just super aggressive. Now we're going to get to some of the visual demonstration stuff here. First off with positioning. Okay, so your positioning. If we are positioned here, and this is the enemy team, right? They're all standing there, and they're shooting at us. It takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds before they can no longer see us, okay? And from here, right, you can't shoot through stuff, right? You can't shoot through walls, so we will be unable to take damage while we're behind this cover. Therefore, this is positioning, by the way. This will apply to all characters in the game, and even all FPS games out there. That is bad positioning, because in that time it takes you to get here, you're dead. Bad positioning is the absence of cover, whereas good positioning is the usage of cover. So if we can place shield here on this corner and use this cover, this is much better positioning than being up there out in the open. Okay, so most of the time you're gonna want to play next to cover. Now, there's a lot of different forms of cover. You can use something like this, where it's a slope. Okay, you can use pillars, right? We can duck, we can shoot people and duck in and out while we reload. We can duck behind this cover. If we're low, we can duck behind the cover. And we can use this corner. We can use that pillar, corner. And so the other thing to keep in mind is when we're placing shield, a lot of the time you're going to want to place on corners, because that does 2 things for you. First off, if we're standing right here, it encourages, as a tank, we're leading our team. It encourages our whole team to stand behind us, which means that they are also going to have bad positioning. Whereas if we're standing here, we can kind of lead by example, and they'll all follow us. On top of that, if you look at our shield, only half of our shield is visible to the enemy team, which will mean that our shield will actually stay up for a longer period of time, because it won't take as much spam damage. They won't just randomly shoot it. So look to be playing on corners, look to be playing behind cover. If we're trying to push forward and play aggressively, we're trying to move from one bit of cover to the next bit of cover. Okay, so from here to this side, right, so this is cover, then to this side. Okay, so moving on from that's positioning. That's where we should be standing. Now, moving on to how you can maybe shoot a little bit better and how you can do more damage. Obviously, headshots are going to be doing a lot more than body shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots in the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so it takes us almost twice as long to kill somebody if we're hitting their heads versus their bodies on Orisa here. So the first big step to this is what's called crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is placing your crosshair in the best place possible to land the most shots. The first big step to this is making sure we're aiming head level. If we're walking around looking like this, which we were, right, then that means that when we come up against people, we have to adjust further to hit headshots, right, which means that it's going to be harder to hit, right? It's much harder to hit the bot if they're all the way on the corner of our screen and we have to go like this than if we're already aiming right here, right? Because it's just a tiny little bit of adjustment. Okay. The second big thing this does for us is all random spam damage that we're doing. We're just shooting right down a corridor. All these are now hitting headshots, right? To where all these shots are hitting headshots rather than it just being body shots. So we're going to be doing a lot more natural damage. Okay, so this applies to, right, we're aiming head level at doorways, at corners, doorway, corner, right, at head levels. So we know there's a bot there. We're aiming a little bit away from the doorway to give us time to react. We know they're coming back, and then we're adjusting. We know that they're on our left, so we're already aiming head level. We're aiming left, okay, and then pretty much they're just walking into our shots. Okay, we know they're on a little bit of a slant here, so we're aiming down a little bit, and we're coming out, and there's very little adjustment before we're hitting those headshots. Okay, now I'm gonna get into, now that we've gone over some of the generalized stuff, we're gonna go into how you can aim a little bit better with your gun, and then we'll talk about some how you can use your abilities a little bit better. So with your gun, the biggest thing to remember is that you're shooting projectiles, right? So your shots aren't going to go instantly. If we're trying to, for example, track that person's head, none of these shots. Oh, I guess that is fast enough to do that. I guess let's go for the person past them.
Yeah, they just increased her speed not too many patches ago.
Yep. So look at this. If we're perfectly tracking their head here, we're not going to be hitting those shots because it's actually going to go right behind them. You can see how my crosshair's right on top of them, but he's not taking the damage because my shots are behind him. So we want to make sure that unless somebody's right on top of us, right? If somebody's right on top of us, we can aim at their head, right? We can just track and aim straight at them. And here we can just aim straight at them. But if somebody's far away from us, we want to aim ahead of them, right? So all the way over there, we're aiming ahead of where they're moving, and then that way we can hit more shots. Okay. Pull. Remember, you can be shooting and pulling at the same time, right? So we don't have to stop while we're pulling. Also, don't try to make every single pull you go for something in the well, right? You can go if you see an opportunity, right? That person's walking near the pit. I guess he'd stopped, but we can pull him in if we see him near the pit. But if nobody's near the pit, what we can do with our pull is pull them up, and we can pull them the people together. We can pull them up in the air. And then what this does is actually makes it easier for us to shoot and kill people. So if we whenever you pull somebody and you're not trying to get them off the edge, pull them up in the air, and then that way they have a fall time, which basically means that you're controlling them for longer, right? So it's this where they just move instantly versus if we pull them up in the air, they're not going to be able to move really until they touch the ground again. So pull people up in the air, and what we can do is just be shooting them this whole time, and then pull them up. Well, I guess that didn't work too well. 1 second. We wait for that again. We shoot them the whole time. We pull them up in the air, and then we can look at our pole, and then that way it's just super easy for us to kill them. Okay? Because we can just look at where our pole's going, right? Pole can kind of pull them into our shots. So we want to be looking to use our pole to where we can shoot into it, but a lot of the time we're just tunnel visioning on making them go into the void, or tunnel visioning on only landing the pole and then we stop shooting, right? So pull them up, look at where you're going, and then it's going to be much easier to kill them because we're already looking at where they're going to be, right? Because we pulled them. With your fortify, remember that you're trying to use that to tank damage, right? So every time you know you're taking damage, don't use it at the same time you're using shield. And then just use your shield, and your shield and your pole should be, you should be using pretty much every single time that you get them. Your fortify, on the other hand, is only going to be used when you know that you're taking damage. Every other time, you're not really going to use it. I think you had really good tech where you play shield and then place bongo. That's really good tech to have. So make sure that you're continuing to do that. That's a really good idea. Just also, I think you never ended up using bongo in the first round, so just make sure you're looking at these ultimates, because ultimates not being used don't get value. I guess, do you want to just hop in the next game?
Sounds good.
On Mercy, are you aware of how to super jump with her?
I practice it, but I haven't been able to consistently do it.
Okay. I guess since Mercy's your... Sorry. Since Mercy is your second most played, or you've made Mercy, would you like to go over some Mercy stuff before we even get into the next game?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. And I'll just say, okay, I know that one.
Yep. So Mercy has 4 main types of flight. Okay. She has her regular fly, which is I just press fly once and then it flies to the person. Okay, you go right in front of them. You have your fly jump, where you fly to the person and you press jump at the very end, and you go past the person. Okay. Just be careful, if you press this too early, you'll end up canceling your fly, but you'll still go forward a little bit. So if you cancel it right here, you'll see that you stop early.
Okay.
Okay. If you can
explains. I didn't know the whole past thing, so that explains, because I will often fly to someone and go past them right into bad guys. So that makes sense.
Yep. So don't press jump then when you're trying to do that. You only just fly to them, or we can even cancel our fly. That's what we're going over in a second. Is you can press fly twice and cancel it. So I can fly, cancel. Okay. That way you just press the button a second time. That way you're let's say there are bad guys right there, so we decide to fly to this person, and then all of a sudden, oh no, bad guy, right? Stop, right? We can just stop and get back, right? So we don't so that we're not just running straight into them. Then we have our super jump. Now super jump, I guess you say you have practiced this, but I guess just so that I'm explaining it thoroughly in case you were unaware of this. What you're going to do is you're going to take your pinky, okay, and you're going to press shift and control at the and control at the exact same time, so that instead of flying straight to them like this, you're going to look like you're dipping underneath, right? So we're gonna press at the same time, and then you see you dip and then come up. Okay. So when you come up in the air, you see how you lift there at the end? What you're gonna do is you're gonna press jump right as you're doing that little lift, and you will go up in the air. Okay. If you do it too early, right, then you just do the fly past thing, right? Even though we're low to the ground, we'll just fly past them. Right, so we have to wait until we go up in the air, right? Do the little lip here, and then we press spacebar and we go straight upwards. Right, this is very helpful for getting out of dangerous situations. We can use it to get to high grounds. We can use it to just get more visibility if we're trying to see what's happening with people. Right, so this is very, very useful for kind of movement and getting around, getting to places. Okay. Now with your beams, have you messed at all with Mercy's settings?
No.
No. So Mercy has, if you go to controls and then all heroes and then go to Mercy, you will see that Mercy has some custom settings that you can control. The biggest one here that you're going to want to look at is the Guardian Angel sensitivity and the beam sensitivity. Now, what beam sensitivity does is it means that we can heal this person. This is at 100% right now. We can heal this person up until this point, right? Now I'm holding left click, I can't heal them. Okay? Now I can heal them. If we turn this down to 10, okay, we are going to not be able to heal them at all, right? I'm holding it down until we get right on top of them, right? So what I would recommend to do is to put this somewhere around, probably if you're a little bit less mechanically sound, I keep this at 50. I would recommend putting this somewhere around 60 or 70. And for the purpose of this will allow you to heal people in big groups much easier. So if everyone's clumped in this one little area, you'll be able to pick out the person you're trying to heal and not have it go to the wrong person, because it'll be more specific to where your crosshair's aiming. Now, with your Guardian Angel, it doesn't matter too much because most of the time, it doesn't matter who you're flying to, right? If they're all clumped up in the same area, you're going to the same place. So that one, you can probably just keep that the same, or you can just lower it very, very slightly. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much it for Mercy. You can probably go ahead and get in a queue now.
I'm changing my sensitivity. I'll start with 75 and see how that feels. Did it? Oops. Oh, that was you.
Yep, so you just get in the queue whenever you're ready, and then, yep.
Oh, I am, yeah.
Alright, I see your
Game
name. I'm
found,
spectating.
yep.
Traveling to Havana.
There is no obligation for the universe
So,
to make
who is the appropriate person to follow?
Is it who?
Who is the
Oh,
appropriate
who?
person?
Are
Yeah.
you
Take
asking?
damage?
Are you asking follow as in pocket, right? So heal or
Yeah.
be with? So most of the time you're going to want to be with damage. Mercy specializes in being able to pocket people. That's the term you use. She's very good at solo healing particular people, right? Because she only has one beam. So she damage boosts, she heals. So Echo actually, so every time you get in a game, you want to look at your team and go, who's the best person to do that with? On your team, that's probably going to be the Echo. So Echo, that's going to mean that Echo is your default target to go to. So every time you're not with somebody else, you're going to Echo. Now, if Echo's in that bad of a spot, maybe don't go to Echo, right? If she's just sitting in... Yep, if she's trying to 1v6 then don't let her. Yep, so you identify, like, who is the first best person to walk in, then if that person dies, you can swap to somebody else.
Wow, that beam sensitivity makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
My barrier is destroyed. Maximum power.
Okay. Hit the purple on his health bar means that he cannot be healed. That's on his anti-nade. So
Okay.
when you see that he has purple, don't try to heal him because then you're just kind of wasting time, right? Instead, you can damage boost him or go and heal somebody else.
My barrier is destroyed.
So now you do have a Genji, so you can probably stick with somebody else until he has his blade up. But just keep in mind that when Genji has his ultimate available, you probably want to pocket him for his ultimate.
My package is here. Luckily, my roommate got it.
All right. Make sure that you're not sticking, or you're not healing people who are already full HP, because that's just wasted time, right? The same thing as when they can't heal, right? We don't want to be healing people who don't need healing. So instead, look around, see if there's anybody else who needs healing, or damage boost, right? It should be damage boost first, then look around for somebody else to heal. Because it should just kind of be you want to make it a habit to where every time somebody is full HP, we swap the damage, and then we look around.
You should be at peak performance level.
Okay, make sure you're using your ultimate sooner rather than later.
Oh,
Remember, the ultimates not being used don't get value, right? You'll be able to, if you use it faster, you'll be able to charge up another one, and you'll be able to, Valk, you should probably pretty much, I would recommend all of your ultimates, just use it the fight that you get them, right? It'll get a little bit more complex in the future, but for the moment, right, at your rank, I'd probably just say every time that you get an ultimate, as soon as the fight starts, use it, right? As long as nobody won or lost the fight. Because then you're going to see a lot more value out of it. You'll get it a lot faster, and ultimates get more value the earlier in the fight you use them.
Setting out the welcome mat.
I'm taking care of you.
Yeah, make sure that you're positioning yourself near cover, right? Even if you're healing people, you want to be... You can heal people from pretty far away, so you can be behind cover while you're doing it. Yep.
Keep for the shield.
Yep, exactly, right? If you didn't have the shield there, you probably just want to make sure you're looking around to see if they can see you, right? Every time you're going for res, eye it out, see, are they going to kill me?
Damn it.
And if they are, then don't go for it. But if they're distracted or they're not looking at you, then you can go for it.
I'm here.
60 seconds
You
remaining.
should be at peak performance level.
Barrier won't hold together.
You've got this. You needed a doctor?
Okay, good usage of Valk there. Good res. Don't tunnel vision on it though, right? You don't have to stare at them. You can even look around. That way you're knowing what's going on with the fight. Don't just stare at the people that you're healing, because you don't need to look at them to actually do the healing or the damage boosting. So look around at what the enemies are doing too. Look at your teammates. That's all about awareness. We've talked about that, right? When you're looking around, inherently, when you have better awareness, when you're looking around, you'll be able to make better decisions, because you make better decisions when you know what's going on. Okay. There, I think we got a little bit too far into the enemy team. Make sure that you're not going too far, right?
Overtime. The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Don't stand still while you're resing. Always just be kind of, you can move around while you're doing it. Just don't, move out of range of it. If possible as well, try to always get behind cover while you're going for a res, because you can kind of sometimes deny line of sight.
Where'd you go?
Yeah. Well, this is the awareness there would be paying attention to your ability cooldowns, right? If you're paying attention to your cooldowns, then you won't really have trouble. I probably recommend using your fly a bit more. You get it every 2 seconds, and you're using it very infrequently, every like once in a while. But it is an ability that you're probably going to want to use very often. And when your team's on low ground like that, what you can do is just super jump and get to the high ground, and then high ground's always really good positioning. Good job eyeing that out, right? You knew that Genji left, and then that's good awareness because you made a decision off that awareness, right? You knew where he was at, and you went in after he was gone. Stay on the damage boost, right? Watch their health bars. Most of the time with your Falcon, unless people are like lower critical, you're gonna want to stay on damage boost because team-wide damage boost is very, very, very powerful. If you're just so you're aware of a just fun game fact, Orisa Bongo, I think besides EMP has the highest team fight win rate, right? So you're going to win the most team fights with Bongo out of any other ultimate in the game.
Okay.
So that's
I love Bongo.
Yep. So that's just a testament, I'm saying, to how good Mercy Valk is, or when it comes to the damage boost, right? Because you can damage boost multiple people at a time, which is very similar to Bongo. So just look to use it for the damage boost, unless you see somebody's like low, of course.
Damage boost engaged. Let me get you patched up.
I am under attack.
Bombs are good kind of tools to measure whether or not we're using good positioning, right? Because if we're not next to cover to be able to dodge a bomb, that means that we weren't close enough, we weren't in good positioning because we weren't close to cover.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
So what's your goal here?
I'm waiting for my team to catch up because I didn't realize everyone just died after I died.
Yep, so you can see people through walls, remember? So when you're going back to point, watch your team through walls, watch kill feed. Even while you're dead, you can spectate people and watch kill feed. And then that way you know the flow of the fight, right? Because you could have very easily died there and then staggered yourself because you're out of position. So pay attention to where you're at. Or like kind of what's happening with a fight. Okay, keep in mind when we have Valk available, we can go for some riskier reses and travel far distances. So we might be able to go for like the Reaper, for example, but now it's too late. Remember, health bars, damage boost, right? You have a health bar in the middle, right underneath your crosshair on people. So once you see that that's full, then you swap to the beam. And then also gives you an in-game audio cue when you're full. It'll make a sound. If you listen, you hear a sound where you're healing people, and when you heal people all the way, then it'll kind of make a special sound, so you can so you know when people are fully healed. Just keep in mind, you're going to be able to do a lot more if you just survive longer on these characters, right? If you're able to survive, right, then that means that you're going to be able to be alive longer to do more things. So the longer you can stay alive it's always going to be better.
10 seconds.
So do you mind pressing tab real quick and telling me how many deaths do you have?
5.
5. Okay, so let's say like in a good game that I have, I'll have like 3 deaths, right, or something like that. So let's say we can cut 5 deaths down to like 2 deaths. That is 3 whole deaths that we're getting rid of. Or I'll go into this after this fight's done. It's still going on. I don't want to interrupt.
At this point, I'm just doing anything because I know it's over. So.
Yep. In that scenario, probably try to res the person who's going to be able to stay alive longer, right? So Zen's probably not going to be able to survive long, but if we get a res on Hog, for example, Hog might be able to survive longer than a Zen can. Alright, so back to what I was saying before, which was... What was I saying before is the question. Brain fart is happening currently.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm forgetting... Oh yeah, okay. So my dad's helped me in the background. He's telling me that was what I was talking about. So I was saying if you could knock down 5 kills to 3 kills, or even 2 kills, sorry, or not kills, deaths. Sorry, my brain is not working right now. So if you could knock 5 deaths down to 2 deaths, then that's a whole 3 deaths, and it takes 10 seconds to respawn. And a lot of the time, you're gonna notice it takes around 10 seconds to get back to a fight. So that's 20 seconds per death. So that means that in total, through those 3 deaths that you're now preventing, that is a whole minute of time that you are now playing the game, right? An extra minute. So imagine how much more you can do per game with an extra minute, right? That's a whole, probably almost a whole other ultimate, right? That is a lot of damage. That's a lot of healing, right? With an extra minute, you're going to be able to do a lot. So just really focus on surviving. Now, of course, if you're only focusing on surviving and you're never doing anything, then that's never going to be the way to go. But if you can survive while also doing things, then you're going to be doing a lot in this game. So look to survive longer by staying next to cover. Look to survive longer by, proper positioning and watching your surroundings with awareness. I believe we have 20 more minutes, so you should be able to you can hop in another game.
Ready? Let's see here. See what comes up first. I'll do both.
Now entering King's Row.
I'm a one-man apocalypse.
Yeah, I definitely think the super jump is something I'm going to have to go into the practice range and practice.
Yeah, but practicing just your abilities in practice range is going to be helpful to kind of get into the groove with them.
Yeah. I don't know why they made it so complicated. Just let us push one button to do it.
Push one button to do what? To
The super jump.
The super jump?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's technically it's not a intentional game design. It's a bug that people found that they left in.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Right.
Be careful out there.
Make sure you're not standing still, right? You can be always constantly be doing what's called AD strafing, right? Go left, right, left, right, left, right, right? And don't keep your crosshair straight. Look around, right? You can just make sure that you're always being aware of what's going on around you, and on top of that, don't stand still, because then that makes it super easy for people to, you know, just turn a corner and headshot you.
Okay.
So any character you're playing on, you should be constantly just going left, right, left, right, left, right.
You've got this.
And it's the same concept as like real life, right? If there's an active shooter and you start getting shot at, you don't stand still for him to shoot at you. You know, go in a zigzag. And good flying. If you're trying to get in, like if you're trying to go somewhere, so like for example the direction of the hog, add in the jump at the end, and then you can go past them, right? So you can use the like going past people to your advantage by going in the direction that you want to go in. Good standing behind cover here. That's exactly what you want to be doing. When Hog hooks somebody, always swap the, even if you're healing, always swap the damage boost just so we can finish off that target.
Oh, bitch, I got you.
Surrender to my will. Let's get you back out there.
Okay, so awareness, right? Paying attention to our side. Just the simple thing of like looking to our right, it can keep us from death. And then remember how we talked about how deaths greatly impact our ability to play the game. Right? The more deaths we can cut out, one, the more you'll be able to do, but then also the more fun you'll have, right? Is it ever fun to die?
No.
Yep. So the more deaths you can cut out by just looking around, the better off you'll be doing, and the more fun you'll have.
For your own safety, get behind the barrier. Objective
I'm
lost.
taking care of you.
Stop the pain.
And if you see that she gets hooked, that's probably a time where you want to start the healing process, because she's probably going to take damage in that scenario.
Till Valhalla. Let me get you patched.
In that case, right, if you're trying to get away, instead of just running through that alleyway, what you can do is just fly back to your team, right?
Heilstrahl aktiviert. I could use some assistance.
We all.
See through the dark.
Remember healing full HP targets?
Yep.
Yep, good job. Just the habits you want to get into, and then you'll just be much more consistent once you get those down.
Where does it hurt?
I know we're probably in a bad position, right? Because what happens when they push in? Then you get caught out. Right?
I didn't realize the payload was that close.
Yep, but yeah, once they have to push that choke, and or that, like, you know, I don't know if you know what choke means, but that tight, you know, doorway, archway. So whenever they do, they're gonna be able to shoot you super easily. So instead, what we want to do is probably be behind our team, right? Most of the time on Mercy, it's the opposite of a tank. We want to be behind our team, not in front of our team. So look to be positioning behind them, and away from the enemy team, not, you know, in front of them.
Wanted to do that. Didn't want to do that.
Yep, that's one of the cases where maybe flying halfway to him might be better, so you cancel it halfway through. You just want to get close enough to be able to heal him, but not close enough to die.
Had my back to him.
Yep. Just when an enemy team has flankers, always be listening and watching out for them. So, just if you hear an echo anywhere, right, you just hear the sound of an echo, look around, because you don't know where the echo is, right? So if you just hear those hear footsteps or hear flying sounds, right, then that's just an indication for you to go, huh, where are their DPS at? Because they might be behind me. Pay attention. Is the fight going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? How many people do you have alive?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you meant.
Is a fight currently happening when you use that Falcon?
Oh, I was going under the, if you have it, use it.
Which, if you recall, I also followed that up with, as long as the fight is happening, right? No team has won or lost the fight. So, right? Make sure you're also paying attention to the kill feed, right? And then if you, or even just in front of you, right? If we only have 2 teammates alive, even if we use Valk, we might not be able to even win the fight, right? So
Okay.
make sure, wait for your team to come back, then use Valk when your team groups up.
I've sighted the enemy.
That was a good environmental kill.
You've got
Yep.
this.
Can I? No.
Where does it hurt?
I want to heal you, but I
My
can't.
will.
And even if you could go for the res, you probably shouldn't. Oh, there instead of trying to, were you trying to go for the res in that scenario?
No, I was literally just trying to get away from them.
Okay. But yeah, remember, like if the fight's lost, then going for a res might not be the best idea because then they just kill you and that person, right? Then that's staggering both of you. So pay attention to the fight's won or lost because going for the res in a lost fight might not be the best choice.
I'm taking care of you.
Right, so D.Va's up on high ground. She's critical. We can maybe get up to her for a super jump, right? So that's just an example.
Oh, okay, super jump. All right.
Yep, that's a really easy way that we can use to get up to the high ground.
Damage increase.
Right now, we probably want to be looking for a res while we have Valk available. Use the cart as cover. Don't walk on the open. Right, that cart is an object, right? They can't shoot cart, so stand like go right up next to it, hug it. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Defeat.
Hey, 3 deaths.
Yep, much better.
Play of the game.
All right, so probably go ahead and get into another game. We do have, I think, 12 minutes.
Double.
Alright, if you want, you can stay in a queue, but if you want, real quick, I'm going to screen share on Discord.
Okay.
We'll just go over something real quick.
I'll be watching.
So you know how we talked about positioning earlier? Well, how often on Mercy are you shooting at people?
Not at all. I'm not good at it, and the hitting the key to switch between. I find that hitting the key between healing and the gun takes me too far out of it.
Oh,
So-
you know, you're where you can use scroll wheel too.
Oh, I have not tried that. That's a great idea.
Yep. Well, just so you're aware, even if the answer was you use it, most of the time it's not gonna be super often. So what I'm telling you here is, since you don't need to be seeing the enemy team a whole lot, don't let them see you at all, right? And then you're taking a lot less damage, right? So instead of standing here and healing both your teammates and being able to, they're able to see you, they can snipe at you, they can shoot you. Instead, come over here, and then now you can see your whole team from here, right? Except for you're constantly behind cover, right? So we can fly to this high ground or it's not this high ground. Sorry, we can fly to this person and cancel it, so we can come use this cover right instead. So we're just kind of sitting.
Where does it hurt?
Yeah, we're just kind of sitting behind these this cover, so the enemy team can't really even shoot at us at all.
Hollywood set is updated for Halloween, so there's extra choke point now.
Oh, where's the extra choke point?
Well, this hay bit. Oh no, because it used to be a car. Never mind.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Never mind.
You are advised to
Oh, good corner usage. Remember pulling off cooldown, right? So you can pull them up and around the corner. So kind of like diagonally up and to the left.
Okay. Even if I don't know somebody's there, do
Well,
I risk it?
So if you know that they're all standing there, right? And then that just kind of pulls them around the corner. right? Just remember, like, the goal of your pole is to make it easier to shoot at people, right? So we're trying to pull people together so that splash damage can happen, and we're trying to pull people out in the open so that we can shoot at them easily. Oh, good awareness, right? We were paying attention. We saw the little red marks and we heard it, so we turn around. That's exactly what you want to be doing. You're aware that you can see when you on your pole. You're aware that you can see like kind of threads coming off them, right?
Yes.
Yep. So that's how you know, right? You can probably even risk it, and you can kind of time it for when you see the threads happen, right? Good kill. Good fortify usage there, right? You knew that they were using a coal at you. That's much better usage than what we were using previously.
What is that melody?
Oh, remember, don't pause your shooting.
Helden sterben nicht. Lifting off.
Good chunk at that. Right. Make sure that you don't become kind of overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that's going on. So make sure that even though you're looking at a bunch of things at once, you're only shooting at one thing at once, right? So
Okay.
make sure you're focusing when your fire on one thing in particular, not swapping from the Junkrat to the Diva to the Sigma, right? To the Shield, right? Then to the Mercy, right? We kind of want to be trying to focus one thing down so we can kind of focus them.
Cease your resistance.
You are advised to move behind my back. Help me. I'm here.
Remember, reload every time you get the opportunity, so that we're coming back in with full ammo.
Helden sterben nicht.
Barrier activated. Stop.
Oh, remember, just look at where your pole is, right? You don't have to look above your pole. It's gonna go to where your pole's going. So your pole drags them in. You just look at where the pole is.
Please move behind the barrier. Deprecation initiated.
Destroying shields worth it?
In a lot of cases, only when you can't get around it, right? And your teams are just kind of poking, right? So if the fight has started and everyone can see everyone, there's no point. But if they're walking into you guys, then you can destroy the shield so that we can shoot them, right? So long story short, if shield's the only thing that you can shoot at, then destroy it.
Try the best pull I've ever done.
Das Universum singt vor mir.
30 seconds remaining.
I'm still new at this. Helden sterben nicht.
Barrier activated. 10 seconds remaining. Not budging.
Let's get
Not
back
so
in the fight.
fast.
Please move behind the barrier. Get them off me.
You're not getting away. Cease your resistance.
Power to forward shield. Nerf this. Looking on. Oh, this is check out. I'm gonna shoot you down. Get behind it.
Okay, I think something you could get good at is knowing when to not shoot. So remember,
Yeah.
don't shoot. Go ahead. Oh, were you gonna say something? Go ahead.
No, that's I know I have that weakness.
So when Diva's defense matrixing, I think we were also shooting at her mech when she already died, right? So if she's being demeched in the process of being demeched, we can't do damage to that. So no
Okay.
reason to be shooting. when Sigma's using his E, by us shooting at that, that's actually us giving him health, right? So don't shoot at that. And then in that time that we're saving, then we can maybe use it to reload, and then we have more ammo to use that stuff, right? Very, very good pull and follow up on it, right? That's the kind of kills that you're able to get. Very nice. I love when I can see improvement kind of like in the middle of the sessions.
Really think, like, I've asked multiple times, like, hey, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And just nobody ever says anything.
Well, are you asking in games?
Yeah, in game
Yeah.
after, like, hey, like, especially if someone's like, hey, that really sucked. You should have done, you know, and I'm like, okay, tell me what I should have done better.
I'd probably say two things to that. First off, whoever's playing in your game is probably similar to your game knowledge. That's not always the case,
Sure.
but I'm saying to an extent, right? They're going to be somewhat similar to your game knowledge, so they might not know what you really struggle with. And just because somebody understands the game as well doesn't always mean that they're, going to be a good coach because they understand how to explain it to people. So asking
Sure.
that question in game might not always be super productive. Though what I can give you is when I get the chance, I can give you how you can learn how to self-improve. Oh, that's such an unfortunate
Yeah.
cooldown. But okay, yeah. And after this game, we can look over how you can look to be self-improving and improving yourself
Okay.
rather than trying to rely on other people's opinions, because that probably won't be the most effective way.
And honestly, I'll probably do this one or two more times.
Okay. No, remember, watch your teammates around you, and then also pay attention in line of sight, because once you get out of the line of sight, that bongo's gonna cancel. So even if you just getting around that corner means that you're no longer getting bongo.
I thought bongos go around corners.
No, so it is like Mercy Beam. You know how Mercy
Okay.
Beam goes on somebody and it turns off after
Sure.
what is it, 3 seconds? So if you go around the corner, go through a wall around the corner, it'll stay on you for a little bit and then it's gonna go away. Okay. Make sure, remember, you're a tank. Push forward when your team's push forward, and you should probably be ahead of your team. So whenever we're swapping from support to tanks, we need to change our mindset to now we're the front line, we're not the back line. And when we're on support, we're the back line. Okay, there, cooldown, right? We threw shield already. Yep. Remember standing next to cover, right? When we're next to cover, we're able to dodge it out a lot easier. So we're in bad positioning, then that's gonna happen when we do die to that ult.
Didn't mean to do that.
Please move behind the barrier. 60 seconds remaining.
Okay, probably don't push all the way up there. Hold at the end of the choke, right? Because this is what's called no man's land. This whole long area, and they have to push through that area to get to you. So you probably want to be back where your bastion is, unless if your whole team pushes forwards, then go forwards with them. You don't want to leave them out to die. Okay, but now that D.Va's dead, so you can go back. Sorry, I've just said the opposite thing like 3 times in a row. But if they push forward, you push forward, and then once she died there, then you can back up. But the thing is, like, they have to walk through this large open space, and we've already talked about how bad open space is, which means that you guys can kind of shoot at them for free the whole time. Oh, yep, that's a situation where just we could have gotten that kill maybe if we were able to have a little bit of extra ammo. Very nice. Oh, 3K? Uh-oh.
This is not your time. That's the Iris. Not getting away. Ein Sterben nicht. Time to raise my ATM.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. He has almost had it. He even got a 3K.
Yep.
Oh, let's break it.
Yep. Try to focus Junkrat while he is ulting, right? Because he himself is very easy to kill, so you can try to focus him down while he's AFK. Especially if he's out in the open, right?
For your safety,
Save shield until you're on cart, right? That way you aren't using it too early. Make sure that you're trying to contest to cart 2, right? Tank's job a lot of the time is going to be contesting cart, so make sure you're on cart, not sitting off cart, because then that happens, right,
Okay.
while you're still alive. So the longer you can contest cart, the more time it gives your team to get out of spawn, and then your whole team can, keep staggering on and maybe even pull it around.
Play of the game.
Okay, so so basically that should wrap up the session. We'll go over that last thing real quick. How to self-improve. Now I climbed from silver to top 500, right? 4400. That's something like 2000 plus SR. So essentially I never got coaching, right?
Sure.
I was all self-taught. And I didn't get a single coaching set. I got one single coaching session, and it was the last week that I competitively played the game until I quit. Now, how I self-taught myself is I essentially went through 3 steps, right? I watch my own gameplay, and while I'm playing, I go, okay, first off, what did I do wrong, right? So you can do something, a big way that you can think about this is deaths. How did I die? Did I die because I was out of position? Was I too far out in the open? Was I too far forward away from my team? Was I too far behind away from my team? Did I maybe misuse my abilities? Did I not use them at all? Did I use them too early? Right? So we can think through that process and go, okay, why did I die? And then so that's the first one. What mistake did I make? Number 2 is what's the solution to the mistake? What could I have done instead of that mistake? And this is kind of the process that I even go through when I coach people, right? Because I understand the game better, I go, okay, this person's making this mistake over and over and over again. And then I tell them, you're making this mistake. This is how you fix it. So this is my kind of coaching process here. Don't go and steal it.
Don't think that
Yep.
will ever happen.
So yeah, just you go through yourself. You go, what's my mistake? What could I have done instead, right? So in all those things that we mentioned with those deaths, right? If we're standing out in the open, right, and we die to a bomb, we can go, okay, I died to bomb. What did Tobugi say? Oh yeah, I should be next to cover, right? So now you find out the solution. The solution is being next to cover, and then now the third step is kind of applying that solution. So we are now making sure that in our games we're concentrating on our positioning, right? We're thinking about our positioning so that we are standing next to cover rather than standing out in the open. So that's going to be the way that you can kind of look at your own gameplay and improve off yourself. And I essentially just went through, that's how I improved. I just played the game and went, okay, I did this wrong. I died stupidly. I made this mistake. It would probably make sense if I did this instead, right? And then that's how I just got better at the game. And then that's how you can get better too, as long as you're just watching for opportunities like that.
I also try, like, for example, if especially in Capture the Flag, if there's because there's usually always a Symmetra on the other team as well. It's a very easy character to play in Capture the Flag, and like if she dominates, I'll go back and watch the replay from her point of view.
Yep.
Like what is her like turret positions? What is she doing differently?
Well, so in that case, I would probably recommend instead of doing that, because it takes the same amount of time to do that than it does to go and watch a actual top 500 play Symmetra, right?
Oh, great.
So
that actually makes more sense.
Yep. So if you go and watch, maybe I think if you're talking about Symmetra, there's you can watch streamers, YouTubers. Streamers will often have YouTube channels or at least clips from their streams where you can go back and watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly right. You can go back and watch Symmetra players. I think the main Symmetra player that I recommend is Stevo. And if you want to go over Mercy players, I'm trying to think of what Mercy players are there. It's been a while since I've looked to see. Yeah, I can send those to you.
Yeah.
But you can just look up like Mercy Players 2, and then when it comes, I'm gonna stop streaming here or stop the
Okay.
recording here.